Good afternoon to everyone. We are here today for a webinar and a workshop that will follow after that for the EU4Oceans and Scientix. We co-organize it together on the topic of unlocking ocean literacy and European Blue School. And this is actually a webinar that initiates, and we will let you know in a while at the end of that session that we are organizing also a MOOC related to that. But you will be the first to get a little bit of glimpse of what is ocean literacy and how you can become a European Blue School. So I'm Irene Pateraki. I'm Pedagogical and Monitoring Manager in the European SchoolNet, and I have with us Evie and Dominika from the Network of European Blue Schools, Anna, that she's also working together with them in the project, and a teacher, a practitioner, because I think when we have a practitioner, you can see how other teachers like you organized projects, Blue School projects, and how you can also become part of these Blue School activities that they are being organized. And I would like, without further ado, because before we start, you need to fill in this participation list. So my colleagues are going to share with you the link. That it's really important because in that way you will get a certificate, and we will also send you a feedback form so you share your thoughts and your ideas after this workshop. And I would like now to pass the floor to our first speakers. So I'm really glad because we have with us Evie, who is the co-founder and managing director of EMSEA, the European Marine Science Education Association, also leading the EU project components on blue education, such as Network of European Blue Schools, Blue Lights, Next Blue Generation project, and Ocean Literacy with All. And she's an experienced education consultant, having created education projects and professional development workshops focused on bringing the ocean to the classroom. And she's together with Dominika, who is an oceanographer with a strong interest in marine geology and paleoclimatology, really interesting subjects. And her duties have involved teaching and developing classes and events. And she joined EMSEA while she attended in 2016, many years ago, the annual conference and co-led a workshop on marine science and how you can involve students in these projects. So, Evie and Dominika, thank you, and the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. First, it's such a pleasure to see that you're with so many teachers who are interested in our Blue School program. So I will give you a quick introduction on what a Blue School is. And yes, as Irene said, so my colleague here is Dominika. And once you become a Blue School, you will be in contact with her many times, and you will see her many times as well at our networking events. So let me first ask you, why do we need to learn about the ocean and seas? So why are you here today on this webinar? So I guess you must be interested to teach about the ocean, or kind of intrigued to see how, what exciting topics you can bring to your classes, or maybe you're already convinced that you and your students should learn about the ocean and seas. So whatever your reason is, I must say, my reason is you have to learn about the ocean and seas, because without the ocean, life on Earth cannot exist. So it is super important to teach about the ocean. But ask yourself this question: if it's important, have you learned about the ocean during your own education? So when you were between 5 and 18 years old. So go back in time a little bit. The chances are that most likely you have not seen anything in your education about the ocean. So a couple of years ago, we did a big questionnaire and survey on where does the ocean fit into the curricula? And in all these countries you see here on the screen, and we saw, okay, it doesn't, it's hardly mentioned in the curricula. A little bit, some fragmented pieces here and there in some science courses. They touch upon the subject on the ocean, but they kind of fail to give the message of what the ocean means for the planet and for us as humans, and what our impact also is on the ocean. So yeah, these curricula, they kind of reflect the typical ocean blindness we still see in society today. The question then, of course, becomes, so can you actually be science literate without being ocean literate? Can you cut the ocean out of all the courses? So that is something that we will certainly show to you in the MOOC. If you want to learn more, please follow this MOOC, and you get all the answers here to these questions. So why am I here? Why are we doing this program of European Blue Schools? Well, the European Commission, they said, okay, we have to do something on a long term to bring ocean and seas into the classroom. So we will develop a program that kind of can fit into all education systems here in Europe, and bring it so this way into all classes in all the countries and regions in Europe, but also for all the ages. So developed the EU Blue School network. A Blue School is a school that focuses on the ocean during a certain amount of time, even though it is not mentioned in the curricula. So this program of Blue Schools, it has certain goals, not only to bring the ocean into the classrooms, but also to, here I see, bridge the gap between the schools and the ocean professionals. That's quite important to bring, because if it's not in the curriculum, where do you get your knowledge from? Or where do you get your activities from the classroom? So you have to reach out to people working either in the maritime sector or in an NGO or universities to bring in knowledge and activities into the classroom. Then secondly, one of the goals of this network is to bring teachers together and exchange experiences, and this way we can all learn from each other. Because it is not in the curriculum, it is quite new, we have to talk to each other and see how you are doing it. And thirdly, the third goal is that we want to make schools also agents of change and sustainability. I think within your community as a school, you can have a role to play in and have an impact on your local community working on an ocean topic. But later more on that. The basics of a Blue School. First of all, we work with project-based learning. So as a Blue School, you develop a project. So it is not one class. You teach, you make a project out of it. This way you have also some freedom in the topics you bring in into the schools, and you can engage your students more actively and let them take on a role. And what is also important is that with project education, there's a number of skills that you also can bring to your students, such as critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, teamwork, all these things, they fit into the project education. So the second thing is open schooling is one of our strong concepts or foundations of a Blue School. As I said, we want to bridge the gap between schools and ocean professionals. So for us, we think it's very important that you collaborate also on a long term with organizations, companies, or institutes that work on ocean topics. So with this, you kind of build an ecosystem around the school of others that can provide something for you. And this, another advantage of it is that students can also get to know, create some awareness on blue careers. So they kind of learn on what is happening out at sea, and they get to know jobs in aquaculture, fisheries, offshore wind, ocean conservation, and all maritime transport and all of the sectors. Then third one, as I said before, agents of change. This is a different time, of course, than when we grew up. So today, education for sustainable development is very important. So also for blue schools. And for us, it's important that as a teacher, you teach your students to think global and act local, or think European and act local. You can also put it like that, to give them a sense of what is happening in their region, whether it's coastal or can also be inland, because the ocean, the ocean comes far inland, so there's a connection with the air, with the rivers, the groundwater, and that they see the bigger picture in the end. So what their region, how it is connected to the entire global ocean, just completely connected. That's a bit the foundations of a blue school. So here are a couple of examples of blue school projects. You can stay, it can be any project. You, as in your class, you can set up a project with your students. Here you see a few examples. The boat building, students have actually built a boat and send that boat out into the Atlantic. It's a little sailing boat. Or you have a class from France who worked with the fishing industry, where there's a lot of waste at the fish market, and they developed a product, a glue, to use in schools. Another project from Romania was a teacher who collected together with her students algae on the beach. They brought it into the classroom and they extracted it to make it a biofuel. There's a project from Croatia. These are small children, and they made a book full of drawings of sea creatures, and all the sea creatures got also the local name, because the local language is starting to degrade a bit. And so they, together with elderly people, so their grandparents, they looked at, okay, what's the word for this fish species in our native language? You have schools working on water sports. There's a school here who has done campaigning via an app. There's many projects. You can collect litter on the beach. The ideas are endless. It can fit into all subjects. It can be done for all ages. So there's many projects that you can find on our website as an inspiration. So one of the main advantages of having this network is that you are able to collaborate with teachers, of course, from your own country, but with teachers from all over Europe. For that, we use e-twinning, and there's many projects that are set up during our networking events between teachers, all on a certain topic. So I guess the intercultural exchange becomes then a really nice element for your students. So let me first explain you a bit what the network is. Not only a network of teachers, but it is also a network of our partners. These are institutes, NGOs, companies who are all providing programs for you to take part in. So once you get into the network, you will find lots of inspiration and projects to take part in. And certainly that is something new. There's new projects that are funded by the European Commission, where you as a school can apply for to get funding for your Blue School projects. And this funding can be up to 10,000 euros for your project. So this is a bit what the network of Blue Schools in total is. So here on the left, you actually see this piano partiture. It's for my daughter. And I don't know if you have children or you have ever learned to play the piano, how difficult it is. It is one one step at a time. So it is very, it might not be something big you do in your classroom, but every step you take will increase over time the things you have done to bring the ocean into the classroom. So the success of your project is really the sum of all the small efforts you took in the year as a teacher, day in, day out, year in and year out. So with the Blue School program, we really want you to think more and more and more about the ocean and integrate it every year within your trajectory as a Blue School, how you bring the ocean into even the school curriculum. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Evie. I think people got an overview of what they can do there, and I really like the examples. But I think that Anna has some more examples to share with us. So I would like to invite Anna Narone, who is the Executive Director of Ciência Viva, an agency for the promotion of the scientific and technological culture in Portugal, where they organize different programs to disseminate science and technology, to share the examples there. It's Anna, no? Or it's yeah, wait, just, yes.
So I'm going to tell how you can shape your future by making little waves. So building on what Evie said, little waves, little by little, can make a big ocean.
Anna, just to let, sorry, if you can turn on your camera because we cannot see you at the moment.
Sorry.
And to remind you about the timing also that, okay, thank you. Thank you, Anna. Great, now we can see you.
So, sorry. So little waves can make a huge wave that will really change the status of our ocean, because our ocean is the majority of Earth, as you say here with the nice citation from Sylvia Earle, which you certainly heard about. Without water, there is no life, no blue, no green. And the ocean is also responsible for at least half of the oxygen that we breathe right now. But this was some pictures that I took with my mobile phone with a meteorological application on the 12th of November. And look how the tropical forests are in this moment due to climate change. Amazonia is in particularly dire situation, but also all across the world, it's not getting very, very well. So where are we? So the oxygen is more and more being created by our blue forests, and nobody ever talks about it. Blue forests provide at least 50% of the oxygen that we inspire, where it's algae or seagrass or mangroves or microplankton. On the other hand, so you can read these two very, very readable and interesting documents produced by the European Marine Boards, a network of marine scientists, and it's very readable and very nice if you want to know more about carbon or ocean oxygen. So suggestions for blue projects. Also, you know that we have a problem of acidification, which of course is not the ocean becoming like an acid, but it's approaching the acidity of blood. So we have become from this point here to this point here, and this is nasty for marine life and so for all of us. And you have heard about sea level, which has been accelerating due to climate change. It is now almost 5 centimeters in 10 years. So our satellites can measure very accurately this amount by which the sea level is changing. So this is another thing that's not going well. And this is the sea surface anomaly in the last summer. You see on the west coast of South America, the El Nino phenomenon, which is affecting everything. But you also see how the Atlantic has been affected by heat waves as well. These are recent data from this summer. So recently, the Secretary General of the United Nations has gone to Antarctica ahead of COP28 to call the attention for what happens in the poles and saying a famous phrase, what happens in Antarctica does not stay in Antarctica. And in World Ocean Day, he said that humanity counts on the ocean, but can the ocean count on us? This is a very famous and very nice video that you can use in our slides. So am I just bringing bad news? Oh no, please don't see this as just making you becoming gloomy in a gloomy mood. This is just to tell you that we have to take action. And in fact, this network of educators and scientists and people in schools and in academia and in NGOs have been working. It started in North America in 2003, then it came to Europe, as Evie said. It started in Portugal, then Belgium, seeing how in the curriculum we can introduce more ocean and call the attention about the ocean, because we need to take action. But things are becoming more positive. We had our very first ocean conference by the United Nations in 2017, where ocean literacy was introduced in the call to action that was signed globally, and as well as the need to reduce plastic pollution and protect marine life. We made a joint commitment, all the educators that are now in the European Blue Schools Network, along with the IOC UNESCO, and along with other networks, in a program that later became inspired, the UNESCO program Ocean Literacy for All. And as you all know, the Ocean Decade has ocean literacy right at its core in the program that is Ocean Literacy with All, which is the ocean literacy program of the decade, to which all of us have contributed with ideas and actions. Now, at the level of Atlantic cooperation, Europe, we can also be very proud about Europe action in terms of cooperation with the other states across the Atlantic. We have here signed different agreements of cooperation. And from one of these agreements, the Belém Statement in cooperation with South Africa, but now the cooperation involving all the Atlantic coastal countries, we have now established an all-Atlantic Blue Schools network with which you will also be able to interact because they are partners of the European network of Blue Schools. In fact, some of our schools who are in the European network of Blue Schools are also members of this network if they are interested to cooperate with partners across the Atlantic. And you see how many there are. This is very recent, but for example, in Brazil and in some European countries, this is very developed with a lot of schools, so more teachers and more experiences that you can get. I have no time to show you the videos, but if you'll get this presentation, and this is linked to some of their videos, and they are really, really worth seeing. Finally, I pass very quickly because many of these Evie has already talked about what is the essence of Blue Schools. Is putting children at the core of their education as active players and not passive. This is what project education means, is putting children at the core of their education. It's also creating partners for your school, building capacity and empowering teachers. I hope we can help with this MOOC to do this. But also engaging with scientists in your schools, create local partnerships with scientists, with the local community, with artists, with the blue economy, as Eve was talking about agriculture, or about any other actors of the blue economy, transportation, ports. They can support your work by letting your students access their facilities, or providing study visits, or providing you with support of any kind. And to continue, I told that I didn't want to make you gloomy, to end on a positive note. I recently discovered this very, very nice work called Slow Hope, by the new president of the Rachel Carson Center, where he talks about the small changes, the small positive changes that, like that music that was that we talked about before, can bring the change. So you cannot just tell pessimistic stories about imminent collapse. Although I showed you those very ugly pictures in the beginning, because we have to know what's going on and how urgent it is to take action. But you should not transmit these ideas to the students, otherwise they might get depressed or paralyzed. So we have to tell nice stories, hopeful narratives, and particularly ourselves take actions that can step by step change our common future. So thank you. This is all I had to tell you today, but we'll be in touch through this wonderful network.
Thank you very much, Anna. It's nice to finish, in a positive mood, in a positive thought. And I think this is what is the role of educators. And that's why now I would like to pass to our last speaker, last but not least, Christian Esteva Burgos, who is actually working towards sustainability of the maritime sector and healthy oceans. So, Christian, what are you doing at your school?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to share our project here. Thank you, Evie. Thank you, Domenica. And thank you also, Scientix, for organizing this conference. And thank you, teachers, because I can see there are 70 teachers online, which is a big number. So yeah, I'm Christian. I'm a secondary school teacher, but for the last year, I've been working for Cteach, which is a C school here located on Mallorca. And I'm going to present now the project we have developed here on the island during this last year together with MC, Evie and Domenica. School here from Mallorca and an NGO from Portugal, because as Anna was saying, and all this Blue School thing started there. So yeah, we're Blue Schools was because the project ended in October, which means that now we are a reality. We're not a project anymore. Was aimed to bring the environmental awareness and sustainability skills to young people in schools by teaching them ocean literacy. The goal was to certify 100 schools in 1 year time. It was a very ambitious goal that we have reached with a lot of work. How? With the bottom-up approach we have developed and followed. So as Evie mentioned in the beginning, the concept of Blue Schools, we heard 2 great presentations. I'm not going to go in deep, but in a nutshell, is to bring the ocean into the classroom while students develop this responsibility to our shared planet. No, and you need to have these 5 criteria to become a Blue School, which is to develop a project with interlinked activities, produce this clear output with the kids, involve students, collaborate with one local partner, and communicate the results. Because nowadays, if we don't communicate, it seems that we are not doing it. No, so. And this way you can reach more people and more schools. So we thought that this was a great idea. And we wanted to start something in Spain because there was nothing big here yet. So we thought, OK, we're going to do it on the island of Mallorca because we have 300 schools here. And we knew from my previous experience and my colleagues' experience that almost all of these schools were doing activities already. So the goal was to connect them somehow and to make them aware of the benefits of the Blue School. And also because we're an island, so if the model we developed was successful, it was easy then to replicate to other islands or regions. Okay, so the model we have developed is from let's say from the bottom to the top. I mean, we've been contacting all these 100 schools one by one, and not 100, we have contact even more to get to know what projects are they doing, what methodologies are they following in class. Very important that ocean literacy can be taught not only in science, you can connect to the geography subject, English, arts, you name it. And to help the teachers to develop their own Blue projects, because we found some schools that they had some interest, but they hadn't even started. So our budget was very tight. It was a small scale Erasmus Plus. So we decided to develop this method where in every Blue project, we involved a school, a company that could maybe help the school with a financial capacity, an NGO who could bring the knowledge of the seas, because if we're talking about the English teacher, maybe they don't have enough knowledge yet, but with the connection with the NGO, they could learn. The local government, it could be a city council, it could be a regional government who can give them also support, and media, because if we call the TV or we call the radio or the newspaper, the impact doesn't stop in the school. It spreads all over the region, and in this case, all over the island. So I'm going to show you a quick example. We did a, let's say, innovative beach clean. We called the project Upcycling Microplastics. And here you have a school, a hotel company, an NGO called Clean Boating, which is aimed at removing the plastics from the sea, city council, and the TV. So what we did is go to the beach with all the students that you can see here. And we did this microplastic beach cleanup together with the tourists and also with the hotel staff, as you can see in the first picture. And we organized a full day of activities. And once we finished with this, we clean it, we clean all the plastic, and the hotel offered the students some kind of merchandise where the students could then work on it and give it to the tourist. So imagine having this present from Mallorca and move back to your own country. okay, for the tourist. And not only this, the hotel company also offer the students a workshop on how to reduce the use of plastic, because we don't go to the beach only to clean it, we go to the beach to create awareness to the kids, no? Other examples, remember we have hundreds. So, for example, in the first one, together with a career guidance teacher, we went to the boat show here in Palma, where kids could learn about possibilities, job possibilities in the blue economy, Posidonia studies, ocean current studies. Some schools went a bit over the top, which was great for us, and they even created their own ocean literacy classroom, as you can see here. This project where students mixed water sports with sea cleans. Also, for all ages, we can start from kindergarten. And this project in Porto Colón, what they did is to compare how a port has changed through the years. So the teachers show them pictures of the port back in the 60s, and students had to compare what the changes were, no? Also, for more advanced, you can combine activities in class with activities on the beach. And in this case, they learned about dunes formation in class, and then they moved to the beach to learn on spot. And also for limited budgets, because sometimes we lack resources, but in this case, this teacher is really creative, and he was teaching here the kids how to create some kind of tool where they're going to measure from last week, because this is last week, how ecosystems grow in the sea. So with just some sheets of recycled plastic, he put some rope on it, and then he put it on the water, and every week they're going to monitor how these ecosystems develop. No, so if you lack resources, creativity is king here as well. Our network, as I was saying, we have 100 schools, 96 on the island of Mallorca, 2 in Menorca, 1 in Ibiza, and 1 in Formentera. And the beauty is that they started the Blue projects with us, but they're doing Blue projects #2 this year. And yeah, we've been on the newspaper, as I was saying, radio at all levels, local, regional, and national, TV. As you can see Evie there, hanging out some certificates. And also this model, we wanted to replicate it to other regions. So we created a blueprint guide that you can make use of it. And there you will find all the methods, a lot of activities we have developed with case scenarios. And the model works. And last week I was invited to go to the Canary Islands, which is the other Spanish archipelago, because they want to create their own Blue School network in these islands now. So yeah, as I was saying, the Blue starts in the roots. So it's very important that we teach ocean literacy from a very early age. If you can start with kids from kindergarten, that will be even better. And yeah, this is our Instagram account. If you want to follow us, I will be so grateful. If you want to start your ocean literacy network in your region and you would like to collaborate with us, you can do so. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have to say it was really interesting. I'm afraid we don't have time for questions, but we have a MOOC coming in January, which I think could be very interesting for all those interested in becoming a Blue School. Blue School. And I would like to thank our speakers, and I would like now to thank you all for being part of this session. And just a quick reminder that we will continue now with our workshop in another Teams meeting immediately following this one. So you have the link now that my colleagues are going to put in the chat. So you just need to click there and join directly in order to carry on with our activities, where it would be really nice now that you will also have the floor to discuss, to share ideas, and to collaborate. Thank you all, and see you immediately in our link that you have here. Thank you all.